So I just wanted to talk about feminism. Um, I wouldn't really say I'm a feminist as such. I don't really like the term, and I certainly don't hate men. And a lot of people seem to think that's what it means if you say you're a feminist. And no, I love men, so it's definitely not that. Um, but yeah, I do think that feminism has kind of backfired in some ways. And it's because of the things I see every day working in a nursery. Um, and from other mums that I know and people when I had a child that I spoke to about going back to work and things like that. And it seems to me that the whole point of feminism originally, and it had the best intentions and everything like that, but the whole point was to give women a choice, that they shouldn't have to stay at home and just look after the kids and just, be a wife and cook and clean and everything. And I totally agree with that. Absolutely. 100%. No one should be made to stay at home if they don't want to. If they want to go out and work, they should definitely be allowed to go out and work. Of course, I agree with that 100%. But what I see and what people I work with see every day is people who actually would rather be at home, mothers who would rather be at home with their children, that feel like they are forced to go to work, financially or even socially. I do think there's some pressure on women, to have this career and to have it all, and I think that's again where it's backfired, is that, women now feel like they have to be like everything, they could be like Wonder Woman. You've got to have the career, you've got to have the children, you've got to still look beautiful, you've got to still be able to cook and entertain and do everything, and it's really pretty impossible to be able to do all of those things well, I think, anyway. Maybe it's just me that can't do it all, but maybe some women really can do it all. But from what I see, something's kind of got to give. And sadly, I think sometimes it's kind of, sad for the children. Sometimes it's the children that are suffering really a little bit or a lot sometimes, it depends on the child. I mean, some of them handle it really well, but some of them do, get upset and say mummy and daddy as well, but they'll cry a lot and want to go home, and as soon as they hear the doorbell they want to go home, and it's quite sad actually really. And they are really well looked after, but of course most children would rather be looked after by their parents. And if their mother would also rather be the one looking after them, then doesn't that show that actually there's something a bit wrong with our society if actually the mother would rather be at home with the child and the child would rather be at home with the mother, and yet we've created this situation where that's not happening a lot of the time. I mean I know there's still some stay-at-home mums, but really not many at all anymore. I mean, there's some stay-at-home dads actually now. Things are evening out. I think it's important that at least one parent is there, at least most of the time, because if they're both working full-time hours, that's a lot of hours. And what we see as well is that when the kids are sick, they're bringing them in still, and the kids that are really quite poorly, because they feel like they have to go to work, and their employers probably aren't very understanding when they keep saying my child's sick again, so they bring them in when they shouldn't bring them in, and then it's horrible for everyone. So yeah, we seem to have created this situation, which it's quite sad really. And if they're not feeling like they have the choice, it should be about choice. So whether women want to stay at home and be a mum, or whether they want to go out and be a career person, or it should be a choice. And that's what we need to kind of somehow bring back, I think, that it is okay to be a stay-at-home mum. Because I think some people feel like if that's all they do, it's not enough, and it's not good enough, and actually it should be good enough. I was quite lucky. My mum was kind of around when I was little, but then when I was about 6 or 7, when my younger sister started school, she became a full-time teacher. But she didn't do that while we were little, because she chose to kind of be there for us, and I'm really grateful for that. So yeah, but when she did start teaching full time, there's a dramatic difference. She just did not have the same energy and time for us, because she was exhausted, from working full time. I remember she just kind of come back and like fall asleep in a chair, for like an hour, and then start doing her planning or whatever, So we definitely noticed the difference. And I used to be a bit jealous actually of my friends that had mums that didn't work, because they just always seemed to kind of dote on them more and get more attention. So yeah, I think we maybe need to bring back some of those kind of values a little bit. That family is important, and that if you're going to have children, I think that you should prioritize them over pretty much everything. And that goes for men and women. If you really have made the decision to have a child or children, then you should at least make sure you have got the time and energy for them. And there should be a way of doing that. People say, oh, I can't afford it or whatever, but I think most children would much rather have time with their parents than lots of toys and a big house and all of those kind of material things, which don't really matter. It's important to just spend time with your family, and yeah, that's what creates a secure child, a secure adult, and therefore a better world, really, So